Welcome to the Any Given Chance podcast. Stories about passion and sacrifice, what actually goes on behind the scenes in the consistent chase of everything. We're going to bring you some untold stories, some of people you know, some of people you don't. These stories that we bring on with our guests are nothing short of inspiring and will get you out there chasing your own goals as well. Join me, your host, 3am 365, Matty Mannion, as we dive into these incredible stories. And of course, as the podcast grows, so do we together. So stick with us from the start, hit that like and share, subscribe button, get your family and friends involved, and we'll see where we are in 100 podcasts. No days off, no excuses.
I can't thank this man enough for coming and speaking to me about this subject. Very hard-hitting. Jimmy Luppo hit rock bottom, drugs and alcohol abuse his whole life, managed to check himself into rehab. We dive into that story. He's come out the other side, chosen to walk the better path, and the man has just taken home the WBL Lightweight Masters Championship. So many highs and lows in Jimmy's life, and he speaks about all of them. Once again, I can't thank him enough. This subject very much so gets swept under the rug, so it was great for him to open up and share his story. I hope you guys take something out of it as much as I did, and we continue to grow this channel as well. All right.
Woo! Welcome, Jimmy Luppo.
Hey, Matty.
My man, Any Given Chance. As you know, stories about passion, sacrifice, what goes on behind the scenes. Mate, I can't wait to have you on because your story, for me, is just pure strength towards the end of it. As we jump into this podcast, you know, your journey, it's a dark one. There's some roads and some, tough stuff we're going to be talking about. And I thank you very much for doing it because this stuff needs to be heard. A lot of us bury it and continue down this path. You are able to see it, acknowledge it, and change it, which for me is so motivating in itself. And, me and you go back and forth even with our training and boxing and whatnot. But, mate, I just love following your story because it gets me out of bed every day. Awesome. You know what I mean? So I'll hand the mic over to you. Just tell them quickly what we have in front of us here. So
that's the bad boy there. That's the WBL Australian Light Heavyweight title that we won 2 weeks ago here on the Gold Coast. So it's something I've been working towards with my team behind me. So
and they didn't spare a single cent on the belt. I'm telling you, that is fucking sick. Look, I'll just put it up there for anyone who's watching at home. If you're listening, mate, that's legit. And I suppose it's legit because, mate, Masters title, well done. Congratulations, mate. And you have done a lot of work because through COVID, even when we started training together after COVID, man, you come back big. You come back big. Yeah, everyone's the same thing. Listen at home. Jimmy's covered in tats, arms, toes. And I remember that one photo that you put up on your social media, and there's you now fighting weight, and the other one is the tattoos are just stretched out here like that, mate.
KFC diet with twins and hard to get to where I need to be with training and commitment. So.
Yeah. So, mate, we'll jump into your story. We'll touch base on it in the beginning, and it is a dark road. Not so much dark, but it was down the wrong path, and you've had a turbulent time with it affecting. And when I say it, we're talking about, just partying, drugs, more drugs, drugs and alcohol, something that, I've dealt with as well. And we'll build into a point where you've made that change. So we'll give the listeners at home the whole story coming into it, and then we'll branch off into the back end, into the scene. So let's go back to when you were young. I mean, you're an advocate of sport. Sport was in your life all through your juniors. You played rugby league and in the Surf Lifesaving Club as well. So let's just touch base on there. You said you're playing in the
Matthews Cup, under 15s for St George. Played local club footy, the Solomon Shire of Cronulla, hence my lovely Sharpies, mate. So sport's been a big part of my life. It's all I've really known, It's always through school. I wasn't interested in learning. If it had something to do with sport, I was there. Swimming, surf, lifesaving, rugby league, everything. Through my early teens, had all these injuries that I didn't know how to deal with that at that age group, with not having the tools under the belt to deal with it. So I dealt with it the other way I knew, with surrounding myself with bad people, and not so much bad people, I shouldn't say that, but bad choices, where it was easier just to numb the pain with pot and alcohol at that stage. Every day was sort of wake and bake and go off to school.
So that was back in the 90s too. And I mean, drugs have changed immensely since the 90s. But, you know, when you get in a group of friends like that, no one sort of pulls you out, do you? Because everyone goes, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. And if you surround yourself with those sort of people, it's you just stay in it, don't you?
I think you thought it was cool back in them days, mate. You didn't know any different.
No, punk rock and bongs and, so.
Spider Bait, punk rock bands and that, mate. So that's all I ever knew back in them days. And it just it took a hold of me. It really took a hold of my life and the choices that I made. And it took me away from sport in general. I started hiding behind closed doors with it because I didn't want people to know what I was up to. I had that stigma of embarrassing behind it. So, that was my life for 20 odd years, mate. It really controlled me. It really took a hold of my life. But where I am now, it's totally been all well worth it.
So through that period, so basically after you were young, you sort of lost, you got into the party scene. Was that like, you were still speaking about hiding there behind closed doors, but I guess with drugs you'd come out on the weekend and it'd be, you know, lair of the party, let's go, happy that, and then during the week behind closed doors and hiding and whatnot. And people don't get to know you or get to see that side of you. It's all on show out there while you're riding that high. Isn't that right? So what was the progression of this? You know, say it started out young with alcohol, led into, you know, smoking weed. What was the progression through your 20s to your 30s? Like, what happened there?
I went downhill pretty fast after that. You know, I started selling ecstasy and partying, and I was the life of the party, supplying all my friends, and everybody wanted to be around me because I had drugs. So it just started escalating from one thing to another. And Monday to Friday, I was smoking pot behind closed doors, and come weekend, I was out some few hundred pills to cover my addiction and party with the boys. I feel like I needed to be that centre of attention. So I was carrying a lot of ego around being accepted.
Yeah. So I suppose the guy who's giving it out as well, you're in a position of power, and there's a lot of fake people, a lot of fake friends, and a lot of people who, you know, as soon as you make a change, that'll disappear. But as we were speaking about it, so that was like sort of through your 20s. You also touched base before the podcast, before we started this, was you also did skydiving.
Yeah, mate. My father passed away, and I was trying to master that pain and everything, so I went out to do a skydiving course. We gave up a rental just a few days before he passed away, so we didn't really have anywhere to live. We found out we could live on the drop zone, so I was fortunate to have a bit of money behind me and everything, and decided to live on the drop zone with my family and skydive every day. It was like escape from reality. Whilst he was passing, you know, I was going off the rails a bit with ice. And I thought that was going to help me get away with it, get away from the ice and move somewhere else and everything, but it just out there, the problems and everything.
Well, mate, ice is a massive, huge shot of dopamine. That's why it's so addictive. Skydiving's got to be up there as well, doesn't it? It's what you're chasing, I guess.
Yeah, so, the combination together definitely was life-threatening. I didn't have a care in the world. I didn't care about my life. I didn't care what happened tomorrow or what happened while I was doing it. And it just got out of control, mate. I was jumping out of planes with people high. I was doing my coaching courses and had people with me that I was responsible for their life while I was off my face.
Yeah, right. So, what's obviously skydiving, they're risk takers, mate. What's that industry like? Is there a lot of people like that throughout it?
There is. There is a lot of adrenaline junkies. Where I was, living out on the drop zone, people would come out for the weekend for their escape from the 9 to 5. So it was a weekend away for them, but for me it was my everyday life, and you felt like you had to manage these people and help them want to get into the sport. So there was a lot of babysitting and just being a part of the party. You wanted to hang around the sport and grow the sport, so you'd do whatever they wanted to do in a way. And one was jump all day and party all night. Yeah.
And like you said, that's that weekend. So when you moved out to the drop zone to get away from it, it was just basically guaranteed party every weekend.
Party every day.
Because everyone would come from work out to see you and want to let off steam and get that high and the adrenaline, and then they would jump all day, like you said, and then they'd go, let's go again, let's keep partying in the night. So at that stage, you said you had a family. How many did you have then?
I just had my 2 girls. My wife was pregnant, partner was pregnant at the time, so we realised we couldn't live on the drop zone forever. So we got 40 acres out there. Moved the whole family out there and thought things were going to be okay, and it was just that vicious circle. Just you can't move away from somewhere without dealing with the core root problem. So it's a blast from the past now. It's all behind me, but it's definitely some dark days there, mate. I count my blessings every day that I'm here, that I'm still alive. There's some times there that probably could have gone the wrong way. I was definitely being looked after by the man upstairs.
It's a very hard thing to admit, and people don't understand like how close that can take you as well. Like there is legitimately one decision when you get down to that rock bottom point, and it's, you know, do I turn left or do I turn right and come home? And, mate, well, I think I've spoke about this on the podcast before, and it's a very hard conversation that you've got to have with yourself as well. So how long did it take you to realise that this was not fucking working? It wasn't.
It took until my relationship was really on struggle street. You know, my partner and I were both as toxic as each other. I couldn't do it without her support, and vice versa. She couldn't do it. We were both too far gone. It was just a vicious cycle, and it was unfortunate that the kids had to see it all. They're only quite young at that stage, but time had to change. So it took out pear-shaped for me to realise that I couldn't take this into another relationship, or most importantly, my kids see this. So change needed to happen. So it took until about August 2017. So actually, just before that I realised that I had to let my pride and my ego down and go get help. I was powerless over it.
And that was just after your old boy passed, or was it?
That was probably about 12 months after my old boy passed.
So you realised that and just kept going.
Kept going, mate. I was trying to numb the pain with drugs and alcohol. I didn't want to deal with the fact that my dad had passed. He was my best mate. He was always there taking me to sport. And without him, with his influences, sport wouldn't have been in my life. He was my coach as a young fella playing soccer and stuff like that. He was my biggest influence in sport. And so I owed it to him, really. I owed it to myself, I owed it to my mum, to my kids, that something needed to change, mate. I couldn't keep going. The way it was going, I would have ended up behind bars or dead. They're the two absolute outcomes that would have come from it. So
do you remember the moment? Do you remember the single moment that it was like, no, I can't do this anymore?
Mate, I do. I was sitting in the watch house at Ipswich. I'd just been busted with drugs. And I prayed for help, prayed that things would change if I was given another chance.
Just wanted that opportunity.
Yeah, and I got that opportunity. So I got out. Within a few days, I made contact with a rehab place where I needed to go detox first for 7 days. I wouldn't take anyone into rehab that was still going to be a problem to somebody else in rehab that had already gone so far through the program. So they wanted to make sure you're clean and had that bit of downtime. So did that at the Royal Brisbane Women's Hospital in a detox clinic there, and come out and realised that I felt great after 5 days, but what was going to happen in a few days, was that likely chance that someone come around or get a phone call, or there was a trigger there that
a number in your phone or still something like that.
Back on it, wouldn't see me for 5 days.
So before we just brush over that, like a lot of people can't make that decision. They don't go, you know what I mean? How did you get into that? How did you find that place to go to? What was the process?
I went to I moved back down to the Gold Coast from out Toogoolawah, where I was living, and I was fortunate to live with my mum. Had all her support. She's come from a medical background of nursing and everything, so she we had a deep conversation of what needed to happen, because she couldn't keep seeing me the way I was, or my daughter that I had full custody with, she was with me, and my other kids went with my ex. So there was that splitting up of the family of the kids, which was very difficult at the time. So I got engaged with the Palm Beach Community Centre, and I had a great mentor there that gave me some options of things and helped me get into the the Logan House program, which was a 6-month program. So fortunate again that I had money behind me and my mum that was able to look after my daughter for that 6 months.
Yeah. What does it cost to do this? Like, I'm not trying to deter anyone who's thinking about it, any listeners, or if you are in this dark sort of thing. I just want to know, trying to show the avenues that there is.
Yeah. So I had to resign from my work that I was working. Went on a settling pension.
Yeah.
They took 65% of my fortnightly payments to cover food, accommodation, and the treatment of the program, and still left me with enough money to pay my bills. I was fortunate that some bills were able to go on hold on my phone and electricity. There was companies that just needed to see where I was going, that they were happy to put things on hold. And so you get that help that people need. Otherwise people won't do it. You need to have that bit of incentive or backing behind it to go do it.
Because if you get thrown in there and then everything else, you come out and everything else is a shitscape, that's not good. That's you come out, you feel
6 months has gone out the window. If that's the case, you come out, and I think that's what holds a lot of people back, is they are worried about what happens when they come out.
I can't stop. Society keeps rolling, keeps going, and I think as much as COVID's terrible shit, a lot of people lost businesses, and that it showed a lot of people that you can stop, and the world keeps spinning.
100%
as well. 100%. So what was those first 5 days like? Like coming into it, it must have been, you're walking in there, you don't know what's going to happen, you're looking around, you're seeing all these other people look at you, What's your emotions and what's your feelings going through there?
I was scared. I was scared shitless, mate, to be honest. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, how long it was going to last. I've never tried to give up on it. 20 years of smoking, I've never once tried to give it up. I maybe got a day or two, but I was addicted, man. It was the pot that was over the years the worst. The drugs come and go. I was able to sort of turn it off and on, sort of thing. It's
like the uppers.
Yeah, the uppers and everything. But then when it got to the stage of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not sleeping, and then sleep for 2 days, and then back up for 5 days, it was just that vicious circle. And it's like putting the seatbelt on in the car. You've done it before you even realise why you've done it.
Yeah, right.
You're a bottle of bourbon in before you even realise why I've done it. You get into that mode of stopping at the bottle up, becomes that daily ritual of putting the seatbelt on in the car. You've done it before you even realise.
Mate, I can 100% resonate with that, because that's what I was doing when I, lost my building company, had to start from scratch again. I was just on the way home, bottle-o, carton, drink, because I was shitty at the world, where I was, and the last 15 years of my life, it felt like it was gone. Come home after a 14-hour day, sleep, get up, drive it up that highway, go to work, 3:30, 4 o'clock, have the bottle-o, get a carton, sit in traffic on the way home and drink it the whole way home, mate. And
Groundhog Day,
mate, it just, once you get in that, you don't realise, you think that's your life. You think that is who I am. That is what I need to survive. I enjoy this. It makes me feel good, because, like we were speaking about, it masks everything else that you're not dealing with. And it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there inside you, doesn't it?
It's the devil. And that's where rehab is really good for me. You get to the core root of your problems, why you want to get up in the afternoon or come home from work and have a drink and everything. It was a great program. Without that, mate, I wouldn't be here without the rehab.
What do you reckon pot and weed did to you? What do you reckon was the major thing that did it make you paranoid? Did it make you non-social? What do you think was the worst part of it?
It's probably a bit hard to say, but I actually still did my responsibilities being stoned, and I couldn't do anything until I was stoned.
Yeah, right. So it was the opposite
for me. So I got on with what I needed to do. I'd go to work. I'd do what I needed to do, but I couldn't do it until I had that wake and bake. So obviously,
you were living, but you weren't recording it. I guess you weren't really being Jimmy.
Mate,
you're just going through the motions, and that was life, and that's what you needed to function to get through your day. But we spoke about being present. You weren't there.
No, the lights were on, but nobody. That's what my ex used to say to me. It's just, why are you even
Yeah, right.
So, the lights definitely weren't on, mate. And I was just going through the motions and getting through each day. And there was not much excuse for the pipe that I thought until I actually went to rehab. So I worked on them core roots of why I needed to use each day and to feel like I wasn't worthy and escape that reality.
Because there are a lot of people out there who have self-control, who do it once every 6 months or can enjoy that or do a drink. There's 10 times more who don't have a stop button. And I'm assuming that was you.
It was then, but I've learned control now. Like I stayed sober for 3 years.
Yeah.
When I went to rehab, I only went there for drugs and alcohol. I didn't think the alcohol was a bigger problem, but I had to stop it all.
Those two coincide with each other.
Goes inside. If you have a drink, maybe you can have a few bongs or something. So I had to stop everything. Mate, I have a drink now, but it's like you say, I've got that control.
Got that one.
I can have a few drinks and turn it off. Especially when I'm in fight camp. It's all business with training and everything, and it's that addictive personality I've got. It's either all on or all off.
That's right. Well, you can see that with your training, and we'll get into that. But so after that scared shitless walking into rehab, what sort of steps was it over 6 months? What do they do in there? Like,
over the 6 months, the first few weeks is just let you settle in. The food was amazing. Hence why I put on a bit more weight there. I've always gone up and down with my weight. They get you back into a normal routine of daily responsibilities. The morning would be like a check-in in a group circle. We'd all go around, check in on each other, keep each other accountable. You'd have daily jobs. I was on the ground, so it's something I enjoy doing. So I was out on the tractor or leading a little team in there of what they need to do for their daily responsibilities. Eat food, then in the afternoon have a group sessions, usually in a big group. They had a psychologist would come in and run a bit of life coaching stuff, work on relationships, anger, just the day-to-day lifestyle sort of stuff. So, and then they get you going into, you get weekend visits every 2 weeks that your family could all come up for the day or whatever. And my mum would bring my daughter up for me, which was great, because without that, I really don't think I would have got through the program if I didn't have that help.
The driving motivation. And those little breakups there. So they basically just chipped away at it, just day by day, little step in front. And I speak about this all the time about making progress. Everyone's always rush now. We're such a fast food sort of society. We need everything now in 4 weeks and 8 weeks. Over this, it was just like let's work on this.
Yeah, well, there was three phases to graduating. So you'd start in like a pop phase, then you go into the next stage, and the third stage was the nitty gritty stuff. You'd have to write essays and really dig deep of generally it's childhood trauma or something for a lot of people that's happened to them. Especially for me at my age, I didn't have the tools to be able to deal with it. I thought it was okay, and I just hid behind that and didn't want to share it to anybody. I was always afraid what others would think of me because of this certain situation that happened to me, and I had to write a big essay on it and help me deal with it and bring everything to light. And I was showing it with random strangers pretty much that I'd been in the program with for a few months, and I felt comfortable talking to them, even though because they were all there for similar reasons. It's not some random bloke that's making millions of dollars and you feel like this junkie guy and you try to explain something to him. We're all in the same boat. We all wanted the same outcome to better our lives. So and I did that fortnightly testing of things. We'd have random drug testing all the time. They're very big on drugs in there. Valium or anything that's going to be like an opiate sort of thing. So I'm fully against, I'll take Panadol if I have to, mate, but it's usually when I've got the man flu and I'm dying. But it's daily check-ins with a psychologist in there and just, mate, it's changed my life. It really has. Without that, but it started with my pride. To let that pride down. I should have gone 20 years ago, mate, but I didn't think I needed the help. Until I realised I needed the help, then that's when things would change.
And so you've great, man, what a journey it must have been. 6 whole months in there, and like you said, only seen your daughter a few times every fortnight.
Yeah.
I suppose that's a goal that you could look forward to doing. Graduation, how did you feel?
Mate, I'm very proud. Had my mum there, closest mates there. They all come to support me.
So they celebrate it. You come out.
Yeah, for graduation day. You get presented with your graduation certificate.
Yep.
Generally do a speech. They have a bit of flashbacks on your journey in there. A bit of a video session. Because there's always someone, big brothers there watching, mate, every move. You can't drop a pin or fluff in there without anybody knowing about it. So it was either that or jail.
Yeah.
Jail was probably the next option if I kept going the way I was going.
And, mate, that might have kept you off the drugs or made it harder for you to get, but it just would have brought you out a worse person.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So from there, you're out. You've graduated. Where do we go from here? What happens? What sparks you to get back into boxing?
Mate, it's I was feeling empty. It was 6 months out of society. Hang on, just before you graduate, they do start getting you back into society. You go out for a day visit and then a 48-hour visit, and then towards the end, I think I was out for about 4 days straight. Then you'd go back, so they build you back into society and help you make sure you had housing or work to go to. They weren't just going to throw you out on the street.
Yeah, it wasn't like you graduated, well done.
Yeah, so there was steps put in place to transfer back into the society and everything. So I had to pass through all them steps and everything until they were happy to pretty much say, see you later, good luck with it. And then even when I was finished, once a week I'd go back there on a Friday to a group. We'd all just check in, see what was happening, how people are struggling. A lot of people went to NA and AA. I tried it, but I felt it was living in the past too much.
You dealt with it.
Yeah,
I'm right. I'm moving on. I've made peace with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I've got a future to attack.
So you go there and you hear people say, "Oh, I've been clean for 20 years," and it may work for them. It works for them, but to me, I wanted to leave the meetings triggered again. I thought this is bullshit.
Yeah, I understand.
So that didn't work for me. So I needed an outlet. Always was good at sport, so what better else to get into boxing?
How old were you?
37.
37.
37, yeah.
That took up the sport of boxing.
37, took up boxing.
And where'd you walk into?
I walked into Sanctum Forge. It's Paul Briggs's.
Yep.
I followed a bit of his journey of similar lifestyle, except he's achieved much more in the sport than I even dreamed of.
Yeah.
And mate, he was great for me. He kept me really accountable. He's a bit of a transformational gym. It was really served me well for where I need to be. I still had court stuff dealing and pending. So I did a 10-week contender course. You get a fight at the end of it. I feel like a bit of a pro and get the whole schnizzle and bizzle. So
the whole adrenaline of the first rush, first fight. And
once that was over.
Blink and it's over.
Mate, I was addicted.
Yeah.
Mate, that one fight, I felt this monster bloke, Carl, and we'd become good brothers and that. But mate, it was just embedded in me.
Yeah.
And it was good for me. It was what else? What else was I going to do to fill my time besides being a parent?
Right, and you you're a boxer, and when you say you're a boxer, you don't have to be a superstar, and then you just know you are, because I've watched you fight, and when you get hit, you come forward. And that's one of the key signs. Like, you see people who don't want to be in there, they get hit, they go back. You know what I mean? What am I doing in here? You, on all the fights that I've watched, you get a couple on you, and then that's it. Jimmy starts coming forward and getting into it. So I can see your love and passion, mate. You built for it. This is your sport, and I think you found your home, definitely.
Definitely, mate. And that was the old me. I used to walk forward and used to think, got to take a few to give a few. But obviously, I've moved on from Paul Briggs's to Tommy Glover, and mate, that's been the best thing ever for me.
Tactician Tommy.
2 fights, 2 belts. He's been amazing with me. He's helped transform my weight again. He's believed in me. He's given me an opportunity, and mate, this is what I do just to repay people like him. He's without him, I definitely wouldn't have these belts here, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it. So you're in a Bridges training. Mate, COVID hits. What sort of training were you doing? Like, were you doing any or?
No, mate. My partner and I, we just had twins. So
yeah, right.
I was fortunate my business grew during COVID. So I'd get home and ask what's for dinner, and she'd be like, I don't fucking know. I've been looking after twins all day. Why don't you do something? So I was like, all right. It's kind of like 8 o'clock. KFC it is.
COVID hit. KFC, twins.
COVID and twins, mate. It was a prime recipe for disaster. My wife, she's beautiful. She's amazing at what she does and being a mother. And
Mate, if she's birthed twins, that's it, done. That's crazy.
And to put up with me, mate. She deserves a medal. So we got 6 kids at home, mate. So the twins, throwing them into the mix, and COVID and her having to homeschool.
Wow.
There was no dinner on the table when I got home.
No.
So I was very disappointed, but I totally understand it. So, yeah, left it to me, and it was just fast food, mate. Pizza, KFC, whatever was easy and accessible.
There's nothing good out there, is there? Anything fast, there is nothing good. Like U-Foods, or what's the delivery service?
Yeah, I'll get U-Foods now.
No, U-Foods are good, but no, I'm talking about Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Anything that's fast or out there, it might be one thing good, but everything else is terrible.
They call it fast for a reason because it's very accessible. And
what'd you blow out to?
96 kilos.
You're chasing me.
96 kilos, mate. And I was back on the bourbons too. There was no need to not drinking. So I'd come home from work and worked hard. And so it was sugar, Coke, sugar, pizza.
Yeah.
No training, mate. Just, I work hard. My job's very physical, but I was putting more fuel in than burning. So.
Yeah, that's it. Calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
So at this stage, once again, was there a point where you're going, hold on a second, I'm getting big here, what do I do?
Mate, it wasn't until I couldn't fit in my clothes.
Yeah, right.
And I've always had a fat pair and a skinny pair of clothes.
Yeah.
And even they were starting to get too small. And I had to go to a funeral in Sydney, and I couldn't fit in these jeans. And they were like nearly 38 inch.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to change. And I was fortunate that COVID, the restrictions ended, and I was able to get back into training and stuff like that. Otherwise, could have been hitting 100 kilos.
So that's for you. When you train, you need to stop what you're doing and go to that gym.
Yeah.
There's no running at 3 a.m. That doesn't motivate you.
No, that's not and you can have that.
Yeah. So
I'm just getting into a deep sleep then, I reckon.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Or start calling you. Jimmy, wake up. You want to come? Fuck off, minion. So,
that's why I put my fucking phone on silent.
On the silent one, You're not coming, mate. Leave me alone. Just in case, phone bump to Jimmy on the way. So basically, gym's opened back up. We're back into training. You walk back into Briggsy's, and this is where we met, doing a few rounds, sparring. And I know you said your job's very physical, but how did you go about starting to drop the weight? Because you're down to, what are you now?
Down to 76.
What was the fight at?
I'm weighing at 77.7 for that.
So you're still on the...
Yeah, we're trying to get down to super middleweight now, mate. So I want to get to 75 kilos now, which is ideally for my weight, for my height.
So what do you do? What's your process? How do you maintain? Do you just work harder and then eat less, or do you track? Do you get on the good foods? What sort of foods?
It's a combination of it. Paul was really good for me with dieting and stuff. He's into intermittent fasting, so I got onto the intermittent fasting. So during the day, I drink 2 litres of water for breakfast, water during the day. Come the afternoon before I go to boxing, it's a protein shake, pre-workout. That's it. Then go to training, then come home, and then I'll have my big meal. So I just eat one big meal a day.
Yeah.
Mate, it's a bit different on the weekends. It's a bit harder to do if you're going out somewhere. But Monday to Friday, while I'm at work and that, it's so busy and everything, and your body just gets used to it. And
when you're doing the intermittent fasting, no doubt your body would be kicking into like a state of ketosis, and those ketones, once they release in your body, or you're burning fat for fuel, you notice you're not riding that roller coaster of carbohydrates or insulin levels and everything like that. You're not feeling those hunger pains at all. Intermittent fasting, I know many of people have done it and swear by it now, and it gives you such a reset in your body and all your gut. It gives it time to create that bacteria.
I think it's helped with my body shape as well. It promotes that human growth hormone as well. Yeah, 16 times, or don't quote me, anyone out there. But I think it is up to 16 times growth into your 9th or 10th hour.
Jamie, look that up. We don't have a Jamie. I need a Jamie.
I'm Jimmy Jamie.
So intermittent fasting and just your one meal a day, and that gives you the energy. So what are you eating at nights?
At the moment, prior to my last fight, I'm getting these U foods. So it's fully calorie counting.
Yeah, so you know what you're getting in the box. Yeah.
It took me a while actually to want to get under 80 kilos. When I went to Tommy threw me a lifeline. He knew I was training on my own. When I left Briggsy's, it was time to move on. It ended okay, but I probably could have been a bit more transparent in my communication with things. The way it ended was I wanted to fight. I had some things going in my private life with family and stuff, and it meant the world to me that I fought. He told me it wasn't the right time for me, and I didn't like that answer. So being an addict or having my own one-track mind, I decided to do it anyway. And I had a good mate, Deese, and another lifelong mate, Brett, who's been around boxing, cornered me. I was pulled out of the fight by Paul. We went behind his back and reinstated me into the fight and everything, and it was just time to go after that. And I was training on my own and everything, and had a fight with by training on my own, and Tommy saw that, and he threw me a lifeline, and that's where the dieting really got a lot serious.
Because Tommy has a small team. Tommy's very dedicated to his fighters, and he doesn't overawe it. There's not many of you, are there? How many's in the team?
There's probably about 6 of us at the moment. A few of the boys have got on to being professionals now. So it's freed up a bit more time that Tommy's been able to share around. Not that he wasn't giving us time, but it's...
No, that's right.
It's generally who's fighting that gets
that's right.
one-on-one towards a fight time.
Well, it has to be structured like that. Otherwise, you got 40 people in the gym trying to beg for time. And that's how boxing works, mate. It's a pass of knowledge down. We can jump on YouTube and everything like that, but there's nothing better than, someone coaching you and telling you.
The thing about our gym, you're not just learning from Tommy or Pete. Mate, I've learned more from the younger kids in there than, not saying I haven't learned from Tommy, but just as much knowledge through these younger kids than what I have from Tommy himself, mate. And you've got to be open to receive information from elderly, younger mates. But going back to the eating and everything, I had a stigma around it. Tommy said, look, 75, we're going to get you down. We'll go to 79 first and we'll get you down. And I had a stigma around it. Last time I was this weight, I was a junkie. So I was more worried about what other people were going to think and say, oh, look, he's lost weight, what's he doing? Is he back on the crack or whatever? Is he up to no good again? And that took a long time for me to deal with, worrying about what other people thought or what was going on. And Tommy said to me, he goes, tell him I fucking told you to do it. I was like, all right, sweet. And after that, the weight just started falling off because I had that mindset of not going, okay, I'm 80 kilos, I better eat. I don't want to be that little. And I was more worried about what my body weight was. So,
you carry that stigma around with you. You still carry that around, so even after
coming out. Why I was still holding on to that. And once I dealt with that, which was a no-brainer, it's everything's flowed and everything's really gone to where it's needed.
What was it?
More worried about what other people thought of me, mate, and not being happy with it myself. It's I knew there was that chance there. Obviously, brother.
Well, that's another story. So before you've transferred over and coming in, and throughout COVID, mate, this was, me and you spoke many times over this when it happened, but you lost your brother as well in an accident. He got cleaned up off his motorbike. And mate, sitting there talking about, I can't even imagine losing my brother or even my father, which you had both done. But there was definitely an option there to go back down that path, wasn't there?
100%.
I can't even imagine what you were going through, and the two, the little voice in your head, the little man in your head going, fuck it, let's just go around from there. And I think this is why I love your story so much, because I think I just kept sending you a couple of texts or everything like that, and your strength to just go no and rock up the next day at training and just pay your ticket, get on the bus and kept going, and that has built into these belts now that you're transferring for. And mate, imagine where you would have been if you chose to go the other way instead of 12 months down the track holding on to this, 12 months looking at booking yourself back in a rehab, I guess.
Yeah, well, mate, it definitely, I'll always be an addict. Never going to go away. It just depends how I choose to deal with it. I've got an addictive personality. Whatever I put myself into, it's either all or nothing. It's no dipping the toes in. And mate, after I lost my brother, there was times that I just wanted to escape. I didn't want to feel that pain, but I went back to what I've done in the last three and a bit years of what's kept me clean, and I just used everything that I learned. And what do? You either sink or swim. And I started to swim, mate, and once I started swimming, I started to just get up and run again, mate, so baby crawling and that. So boxing's definitely saved my life.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's never going to go away, but it's still a thought there. You still get a thought, but it's like, maybe an ex-cigarette smoke, I can just have one. And I sometimes feel that, and I always just have to look back and go, well, what's the trigger here? What's going on during the day? Is it something in my private life? Is it something in my business or family? Or is it? There's always a trigger into why we want something. So I just check in on my emotions, do a reality check, and check in and tick my boxes.
Yeah, mate, I can resonate that 100% with me with alcohol as well. Like stressed out day, go to reach. But I want to say to you as well while we're here, hey, your old boy and your brother would not be more fucking proud of where you've come and where you've gone to right now, because that wasn't easy. That is a long journey. It's not just the 3 years or anything like that. It's from your 20s to your 30s to making that decision. This is how old are you now? 42?
Nearly 41, mate.
41, sorry, mate. You're in the Masters, you're in the Masters. I'll be there soon, don't worry. But a 21-year journey to lead to this good place that you're at now, that's a long fucking journey.
Yeah, and mate, it's from when I left Paul's, I wanted this fight. I really wanted to take it. It was for a bell, and my brother was the motivation to get me up to that point and everything. And I woke up sick on the day weighing.
Yeah,
couldn't swallow and everything. Everyone was telling me to pull out. And
ego,
pride, wanted to do something for my brother. And mate, I was up the first round and I got dropped in the second round. Short bit of left hand, and mate, I didn't know where I was. Could have kept going, but it was that life lesson of things.
It's a lesson, mate.
Yeah,
so
I decided to not let life knock me down, keep me down, and got back up and made better plans and better dieting and just everything, and put in a plan.
So that's one of your main driving forces now, is planning everything out. Setting short-term goals, setting 8-week goals. I mean, I suppose all your sort of fight goals will be turned around when your fight's coming up and peaking them. But do you find that's a lot easier? Because that's what I'm trying to build here with my company at 3am is I've found that if you look too far ahead, you're fucked.
100%.
Everything is just 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 1 week, 3 weeks. Just ticking these little boxes off. And
mate, if I said I want to be clean for 4 years' time, mate, I went day to day. I started day to day, week to week, month to month, now to year of staying clean. And it's like the fighting. It's set a goal, action it, make a plan. And it's the journey along the way. This is the bonus to it, but this is more for the mum.
Yeah.
It's lovely to look at and that, but it's not what I did it for.
Yeah.
I did it for my own personal satisfaction of setting the goal and achieving it. And I know whatever I put my mind to now, I can achieve.
That's right.
So,
we were speaking about it, dropping down. When's that fight coming up?
September. We'll let you go to Townsville in a few weeks. But I think Coach and I decided to pull the pin on it. Just a bit too soon, maybe. And for September, we're going to go down. My opponent wants a rematch in October. So I'll be up and down with my weight, mate, but I'll fight anyone anyway. It doesn't bother me. I know.
So, mate, the next thing that we're going to get into here, I mean, what a journey it is to lead into this point. You've used all these steps along this point. You've been a guinea pig. You've walked the yellow brick road. You've walked the fucking black brick road. You've done it all. you're jumping into life coaching now.
Yeah, so I've just almost finished a diploma of life coaching. I'm a qualified NLP practitioner, so it helps with it's a neuro-linguistic programming, so helping people change that thought pattern of, like getting into the car, putting the seatbelt on, turning the indicator on. We're like a hard drive. We program in some positive ways and obviously in some negative ways, and so it's just been replacing them negative thoughts, setting goals, helping businesses work through tasks and problems that they may be hitting the brick road in their business to help them get over the line to where they want to be. Qualified hypnosis, so conscious hypnosis, and level 4 life coach. So, mate, I just want to give back to people that were there for me. I thought I wanted to become a drug and alcohol counsellor, but it's that same thing of living in the past too much with it and that. But I do owe my life to these guys, and a lot of the people I have been helping are junkies and that. But until a lot of them don't have that self-worth. You've got to come in willing to want to do it. It's seems to be doing a lot of babysitting for people, and I've got to change that the direction of where I'm going with it. It's just I'm going well with it, but I keep hitting little forks in the road with the people that I want to help. So, but yeah, life coaching, mentoring, and giving back to people is where I want to be. I want to help kids that not make the same mistakes that I went through, and go through 20 years of this shit to realise that there's better in life, mate. You could be gone tomorrow. You never know. So you got to enjoy each day, and I just want to help people, mate, and give back.
Mate, for myself, there's no better man to do it. And I'm not bagging anyone out there who's a life coach, but like I said, you've gone through these experiences. There's a lot of them that have done the diploma or done this and haven't lived through what you've lived through, or haven't dealt with what you dealt with. So for my journey, it really resonates with you doing life coaching, is because I've been a guinea pig with my weight and sports and an athlete like that. So that's where I'm moving into. That's where because I understand being a fat fuck. I understand fucking
your transformation.
It's not being able to.
You say that to get in there, I inspire you. You've inspired me from the day that I met you in the gym. Like your persona, the way you carry yourself, your energy, like it's contagious, man. You've got to hang around people that are going to rub off on you. If you hang around builders, they're going to build you up. Hang around drainers, mate, they're going to drain you down and drag you down. So you've got to find your tribe and stick with them.
That's right. So where do you go from here? What sort of people are you trying to? Is that younger generation, or what? Where are you trying to get to?
It's a bit of a mixed bag. Ideally, kids just about to leave school.
Yeah.
But, I think they're young, wild, and free, and this drug that's out there at the moment with ice. It's luckily I only come in the tail end of it. I obviously dabbled a little bit into it and that, but man, it's dangerous stuff. And these kids are going to be leaving school. I don't know what they're teaching them in school and that, but you just hear different age brackets these days of kids that are on it, and man,
there was none of that when we were growing up. You weren't on drugs. There was a couple of guys at school, you know what I mean, but now you hear kids going to schoolies or 17, 18-year-olds, and mate, they've got drugs in their pocket. They've got everything.
Yeah.
They got everything in their pocket. They know all about it. I think that's a prime area for you to get in.
So and obviously people in business that are struggling with blockages in the road to where they want to get in their business. Generally, it's something going on emotionally with them, or in their relationship. You keep it pretty simple. It's like a car tire. If you've got divots in your tire, then it's not going to run smoothly. So generally, for example, if you work on maybe a relationship and see what areas are taking up majority of your life, and we try and just even it up a little bit so you've got that more of a smoother running tyre.
So you dive into it and you try and pinpoint it and then work on that area.
And life coaching, people think it's me giving them all the answers and telling them everything, but it's me just helping them realise what they realisation really true.
I suppose with businesses and whatnot, where you come in well with there is life coaching. You're in the people industry now, and there's a lot of people, a lot of successful business men and women who just don't know how to deal with their staff either. Who cannot, like, there's a big thing, leaders lead by example, and communication is everything with it as well. And if you don't have that communication and you don't lead by example, your business is you might be very good at the top, but you won't have anyone responsive under there. So I think that's where that position in the middle there would be very, very good. But I think, mate, that 19, like you said, that out of school to the 21-year-old gap, if you can touch a few guys there and just wean them off that road and go, look, and get them into these sports or get them into a hobby I always talk about that. I mean, I want to coach, eventually like rugby league teams around that age, because I think that age you're still a sponge and you're searching for that mentor. 100%. A lot of people don't get it. I was lucky enough to land in with Scotty Park, and he just come back from playing in the NRL, and he was running Sunday, training sessions, and I was same thing, going down the wrong path. Who knows which way I was going. Luckily, he dragged me into this system, which once again changed my life. I learned about training. I learned proper rugby league, and sent me on the pathway down chasing my dreams. But that was by chance. You know what I mean? There would have been 100 kids behind me who missed out and gone the other way, and are still trying to find their way in life and what they're doing. So I think, Guardian and guys.
I think it's something we touched on earlier too. People coming to, at that age, could be coming to the end of their career or failed football career, or there's people that get to the end of their career and don't know what to do. They've got nothing else. Yeah. I've sort of gone the opposite, where I've got boxing now, but these guys they come out lost. They may not have got to where they wanted to with their expectations, and they've failed. So it's probably a prime age where it's like myself, go down the dark roads or work ways to keep going up and come back from it.
Or you have that ideology of that's who I am, especially when you're young. You attach yourself to, like we spoke about, you attach yourself to skydiving. I attach myself to, I'm Matt, the rugby league player. My career finished. You realise rugby league just moves on to the next young 18 superstar, and that's it. I no longer train 5-6 nights. Where's the reason? What's the reason to keep training? And a lot of blokes just lose it, okay? And then they hang on to who they were or where they weren't. And I speak about this consistently, about, okay, let's hit a point zero. That's now our starting point. Don't worry about what's behind us or who you were. Let's worry about getting our goals in the future. Let's worry about what I can achieve, not what I have achieved.
And that's the same with the life coaching. That's what's going to help people to keep continuing to set goals and to make these goals achievable.
Yeah.
And give yourself love and praise along the way. It's the journey. It's not this that's sitting there that I'm most proud of. Like that's the icing on the cake from it. But there's so many moments along the way that I'm more proud of leading up to this.
And there are moments within yourself as well. I've noticed no one around when I stepped on that scales and it was 99.9. Man, same thing, emotional, and that was 35 kilos down. That was massive for me. But then had to hit point zero again, or just something little. Like so much effort has gone into this thing that no one else notices, but you've got to be able to acknowledge those things and not just brush over them or go past. You got to have that, acknowledgement of I did that. Celebrate your win. Let's go. Let's move forward.
Pat yourself on the shoulder each morning that I've done a day clean.
Yeah.
No one knows about it or whatever. It's just my little fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
And you wake up the next day, pumped again. Yeah. Let's go again, mate. Yeah. Let's go again. Yeah. And it's that conversation with yourself that really matters, because, like you said, you can mask it to a lot of people out there how your day was, and a lot of people don't give a fuck as well. No. You know what I mean?
I used to be able to walk around with a tape recorder in your top pocket. Hey mate, how you going? Press play. Yeah, all right. Just battling. Where now I'm doing this, doing that. Yeah, work's great. Family's struggling, whatever. We're going through this, and actually just be open and honest about it. If I wasn't so open about my journey and that, how am I going to help change people?
Correct.
I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I used to be for a long time, where I'm grateful for my struggles now because I found my strengths through it. And without that, and being open and wanting to help others, and everyone's always going to have an opinion or judge, but I'm the only person that can look at it in the mirror and judge themselves.
You couldn't have said that any better. And for anyone out there who is listening, or and you already know in your gut if you're listening or if you're watching or anything, there's that one thing that's bothering you, and no one can see it or anything, but you might be thinking about it right now. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed to talk to your mate. Don't be ashamed to speak it out loud and make the change. I've just had one of my best mates do exactly the same. rugby league player, Damo Gripsky, out there, and he actually took to social media and just said, mate, I've been a shit human this whole time, blah, blah, blah. And, mate, he's on his journey now because he was able to speak it. And it took him, and I got on the phone and spoke to him, it took him a year and a half to be able to say those words, to build into that point of actually acknowledging it and whatnot.
The suicide rate, I think it's 70% to men to 30% women.
That's nuts.
So, don't be afraid to talk about it. Talk to your mate, talk to somebody, call Lifeline, because there's too many good people just taking their own life because they're too ashamed to talk about it.
Mate, I find a lot of my mates being in bad relationships and they're losing their kids as well. Missus won't let them see them or anything like that. I've spoken to them there and I've just told them, like, it is now. Just play the long game, find a relationship with that woman again and get your kids back in life. 6 months down the track, they've called me, Matty, they're in, I'm back, I'm seeing them. And you know what I mean? It's just...
consistent. You got to have that consistency.
Yeah.
I've got one of my daughters that was with my ex from where the drugs and everything.
Yeah.
She's back living with me full time. She's 9 years old. She wants to live with Dad. She's been with me for 6 months, and I've got 2 of my girls with me full time from my past. Yeah. So I had to do the work to be able to do that. Yeah.
Just trust in the process, and like you said, because a lot of those suicides that we're talking about, Ray, do come from just total heartache and total pain that you think will not go away or it cannot change, but it definitely can. And definitely. I think finding the right person to speak to is very important as well, because you might, like Damo had it, he brought his out on social media. Yeah, that's fine. But you might take you a year to speak it to someone, and if it falls on deaf ears or if it goes to the wrong person, and someone, or the person, it doesn't go to the wrong person, but they don't know how to deal with it, or they're not equipped to deal with what you're telling them, it might that moment or that area might bypass you over, and it might take you another year or a year and a half or longer or never to get back to that moment again. So this is where once again, your life coaching and that, find the right person to do it. If it's your best mate and you know you can talk to your best mate like that, sweet. If it's your mum, no, you do. If not, find you. I'm sure you'll be picking up on the phone. Find a reason to make that call and just make that first conversation. And that's the first step, 100%. And then you grow from there.
100%, so it's got to get uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. You've got to let that pride down.
You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah, you got to go through that thing. And I've said it many times. When you think you're at rock bottom, you usually got another meter to go. You think it goes down before it goes back up. Yeah. So, lastly but not least, how do people find you? How do they?
You can find me under Jimmy Luppo on Facebook. That's LUPPO. And fling me a message on there. I can send you whatever information you want on my life coaching, boxing, training, whatever, diet planning. Same stuff with Matty, mate. This guy gave me an opportunity to jump on and share my journey. It's just want to help it impact others.
That's right.
I'm fortunate to have my life impacted on me for the positivity. And Matty has been my older brother for 5 years because of my drugs and everything and my bad choices of words and everything. And that relationship's repaired itself. Me and my brother are closer than ever. It's just, you've got to put in the work. Show up each day. You're going to go backwards to go forwards. That's okay. Just don't be afraid. When you share your wins, share your losses. Yeah. I've had more losses than wins, but
share your life. Yeah. Don't. We got one life. Let's get it done.
Yeah, that's right.
One of my biggest fears is not getting enough done.
That's exactly right.
Now that and you realise that.
I realise that now because I feel like I've wasted a fuckload of time back in addiction time of just being off my head. Probably had some really good times, but I can't remember them all. No. But that's definitely cost me more than it's worth. And this we'll go again soon. We'll try and get another. We won't try. We're going to get another belt and try and get another division. So I'll have 3 different divisions. And
fucking hell, watch out! How's that for a trophy room, mate? Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for being open and honest in every avenue of it. If you're just listening here, I'll put all Jimmy's social medias on the bottom, wherever we're casting it. Look, Where's it going out of the show here?
Spain.
Yeah. On the bottom of the Spotify, YouTube, of course, and Apple Podcast, and you'll be all my social medias, which is 3am Matty Mannion 365. So, all right, guys, thanks heaps. See you soon.
Thanks.